Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to use Google News. So the first thing you want to do is you want to log into Google News, and you can do this two ways. The first way is if you are logged into any Google app, such as your Gmail or a Google Drive, you can find 9 dots at the top of your page, and you can click on those Google apps and you can scroll down until you see Google News. Mine happens to be here on the left-hand side, but if you don't see yours, you can scroll down more, and if you still don't see it, you can click on more at the bottom and you can find it there. So I'm going to click on Google News, even though I'm already logged in. And if you also wanted to find another way to log in, you can also just type in up at your web browser news.google.com, and that will also take you there. You do need a Google account in order to access Google News. So if you don't have one, you will need to create one. So over to the left is many different options of where we can get our news. And this is a really great tool, an app to use, especially in today's world where we are always looking on our phones or our computers. We don't always have time to read the newspaper anymore, to watch TV, and we can easily get it from our devices. So over to the left, we have top stories. So if you click on that, that will give you some headlines of top stories that Google has analyzed and felt that it was a headline for this time. So there's also, you can click on the option for more headlines, and that will just simply give you more headlines. At the top, they kind of organize the headlines by the latest headlines, US headlines, world headlines, business, technology, entertainment, sports, science, and so on. So there's a lot of different options here for the headlines. So if we go back, if we didn't click more headlines, we could scroll down and you can see these are the headlines that Google has put on here. There's also For You. Now, Google has recommended this based on interests. So these are things that they felt was connected to what you search for personally. And it does categorize it this way, where the US headlines are listed here, and you could look specifically for more US headlines. And again, it just continues to organize it in the same way. World headlines, your local news, business headlines, and so on, technology headlines. And it does continue to keep organizing it into these certain headlines. Going back up to the top, if you wanted to look specifically for you, so this is kind of similar to the headlines that we just saw. Now, these were recommended based on your interests, so maybe things that you had already searched for at one time. If you interested, like you could see, country music came up on mine, and different headlines that came up. So also another option is following. So you can look at any of these headlines. So let's say going back to the top stories, and let's say I felt that I was interested in the US headlines. So if I'm clicking on the US headlines, I can click on this option here that says follow. So I could follow this topic if I'm interested in just US news. So now that I clicked following and I did get a star, which shows that I am following it, I can go back to that option on the left that says following. And now you can see under my topics, US is one of the topics that I'm following. And there are more options here where I can remove it from my library if I decide I no longer want that there. And going back to going back to US. If I decide not to follow it anymore, I can just simply click it again and it will unstart and I will no longer be following it. And I can check that by going to the following page and I no longer see the US news there. Saved searches, so you could have any saved searches that you want to appear here. You can also search specifically for topics. Clicking on here, they already had some that they felt was just maybe some very popular topics that I already searched for. Let's say I wanted to search for New Year's resolutions. So it came up here and I can click on it. And here are topics all about New Year's resolutions. So these are some news documents. And as you can see, under any news document, it will tell you the source. So this one came from NBC News, and it will tell you the time on it. So it was just 2 hours ago that this one was posted. And again, if I wanted to follow this topic, just New Year's resolutions, I could do that as well. I could also share this topic with people, or I could copy the link and then post the link somewhere. I could share it through Facebook or Twitter. So that's another way I could get that to be shared. And there are lots and lots of articles about New Year's resolutions. So going back along the left-hand side, so there are many topics. So we've already looked at the U.S. news, and we could scroll through that. Again, they have it listed. This one's from CNN 13 hours ago, the Washington Post just 40 minutes ago. And you can just click on it and read the entire article. Each one also has options here. You could save it for later. So let's say you're not ready to read it right now. You could save it, you could share it, and you could also have, there's some more options there to look at. There's also world news, your local news, business news, technology, entertainment, sports, science, and health. And along the left-hand side here at the very bottom, there are some additional settings that you could look at, some hidden sources. It does tell you what you're logged in as. And there are also the options to get the Android app, or you could get the app for Apple. So if you have an iPhone, you would be searching for how to get that app on your phone. So those are two great options because, let's face it, we're not always on the computer, but we're on our cell phone a lot more. So it may be more easier, or maybe easier to get your news on your phone versus opening up your laptop. And that is about it. You can also see the weather along the right-hand side, which is nice. So weather is also news. You can see it, and you can also change your location. So it already has it listed where you would like to go, but you can change it based off of where you want to go. And this is on based off of weather.com. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it beneficial, and thanks for watching.